Hey guys, LootWizard here with another Soulforge video. We got a new troop here, new event going on, and of course new stuff in the Soulforge. So yeah, let's get right into it here and see what's here to craft in the forge. I like to check out weapons first and see if there's anything good in here. And it doesn't look like there's really anything good necessarily. Ocean's Protector, eliminate all armor from an enemy, gain life equal to armor eliminated, submerge all allies. Now, that's an okay weapon, but I would definitely recommend getting a few other weapons before this one, such as Rope Dart, which will eliminate all armor as well. So, there's in some cases, this might be useful. This would be a pretty tanky weapon to use in high-level delves, for example, because you're going to eliminate all armor and then gain life equal to that armor eliminated. The Submerge All Allies isn't going to really play too much of an important role unless the enemy is using a damage to all type. But, yeah, so it's not a weapon I would say definitely get. This weapon's just kind of your average mana generating weapon for a particular type of allies. In this case, it's rogue allies, and I just can't remember really any great rogues, so I would pass on that as well. So let's head over to troops. I'm going to go through the summoning stones really quick just to see if anything catches my eye. Hey, there's Ragnagord. So in the red summoning stones, Ragnagord is available, and this troop is really good for mana generation. It doesn't have too much to mitigate skull damage or anything like that, but it does start battles with 50% mana if you unlock the second trait, which means you'll only need 7 mana to get this thing fully powered up, and then it will explode pretty much the entire board, whatever color that you choose. So you can pretty much guarantee an explosion of the entire board every single time with this troop. I do use it in several teams, so if it's one of these troops that maybe you could even reach level 1,000, and maybe you're just unlucky and you don't get it in keys. If that's the case, now is a good time to get that here in the red summoning stones. Moving on to yellow and purple. Take a look at brown. So yeah, that's all that catches my eye here. Is I would definitely go for Ragnagord here in red. And alright, moving on to legendaries and mythics. For legendaries, we have Gloomleaf, Ursula, Wrath, and King Avlorn. So right away, it's pretty easy for me to decide which ones are good here. I would say that as far as legendaries this week, Wrath is the best out of these 4. And then King Avlorn would be number 2, Ursula would be 3, and Gloomleaf would be a last 4th. Gloomleaf is kind of a weird legendary. I just never really found any good team to really work well with it. But Ursula is kind of important in some degree because it will allow Urska troops to start with 50% mana, and there are a few good Urska troops. I believe there's 2 guardians, or one guardian troop rather, that is Urska, I think. So that would be a good way to use this troop. Then Wrath here. Wrath is my number 1 pick just because it transforms blue gems to brown and yellow to skulls, and rages all allies, burns all enemies. It will reflect 25% of skull damage. It explodes 2 random gems when it deals skull damage. So if you put this thing at the top and you use a class like the Stormcaller, you can pretty much guarantee lots of skulls and explosions and all kinds of cool stuff going on with that troop. King Avlorn is my second choice for legendaries just because it does do damage to all enemies, and then it will also summon a Forest of Thorns troop. But the other thing it does is it starts elves with 50% mana, which is really good. This troop is really good placed with other troops like the Arachnean Weaver, which is a mythic troop, or the legendary Yao Gai. There's some really good elf troops, and so this troop here is really good in those types of teams. So that's it for legendaries there, in my opinion, on those. Now, quickly here, let's go over some of these mythics. We're starting here with Death. We have Queen Aurora, and then we have Vash Dagon, and then we have Zillo Pochtli. Now, there's really no great mythic this week. They all kind of suck. So, yeah, I don't know how that happened, but they're all pretty bad. I would say Queen Aurora is like one of the better ones. It might actually be my number one pick this time around. And it's not even a damage troop. So this is a support troop. It's going to give life to all, or it's going to give all other allies barrier and life. And then it will create 10 gems of a chosen color. It also gives you Rainbow Link, which is you get a 1+ bonus to any color gem match. And I have used it in some teams, but it's not something I reach for immediately when I'm looking for a support troop. The one thing it does lack is cleanse, which is, in my opinion, one of the more important support functions these days because there's so many negative status effects that just having a troop that can cleanse your whole entire team it sometimes saves you more often than barrier or just giving life to them. So, but Queen Aurora is probably going to be my number one pick here. This is going to be a hard one because number two, Zillopachli is pretty crap. It's just, I've never been able to get a good team with it to use its damage. It deals damage to an enemy boosted by purple gems. It's 1-to-1 ratio, so, like, I mean, realistically, you could get maybe close to 20 gems on the board before, if you've got a storm going, but that's kind of hard to do. So I'm just saying that you could get maybe an extra 20 damage added to the 33 here, and that's just going to hit one enemy. Now, if there is a storm going, it's going to deal double damage, so that's where you want there. If the enemy dies, it will create 12 skulls. There's really no good way that it can take advantage of creating those skulls. So this troop, in order to take advantage of this, if the enemy dies, create 12 skulls, you're going to have another troop that will be able to take advantage of connecting skulls. Otherwise, it has no way to reduce damage from skulls or do extra damage. It inflicts death mark when doing skull damage, and that's like, death mark is not really that good in my opinion. So the other thing here is it will passively, if you have this final trait unlocked, it will deal 12 damage to a random enemy when matching yellow gems. So it's kind of weird because when it's matching yellow gems, but you want to have as many purple gems as possible to boost your spell damage here. So in my opinion, this troop is just a cluster of just, nothing really synergizes with itself here. It's like you want to go for purple gems to get the boost of damage to this, but then when you match yellow gems, you're going to get this damage. So it kind of seems like, you should have a yellow light storm going, but if you do that, then you're not going to have as many purple gems on the board to maximize that. So, and then of course you got the skulls down here, which doesn't really connect with anything. And why they made it 25 mana cost, I mean, it's not even that powerful. It's a very low tier mythic, and they made it cost 25 mana. This is bizarre to me. Anyway, I'm trying to decide right now if Zillopachli is actually worse than Vash Dagon, and it might be. I think look, Vash Dagon actually has a 24 mana cost, and Zillopachli has a 25 mana cost. So, yeah. This actually devours an ally, and then it will summon a demon if the ally is devoured. It deals 42 true scatter damage boosted by its life, and the ratio is 3-to-1. It's a horrible ratio because the maximum life that you can get is 1,000, right? So, and it's going to take you a while to get that life boosted up to 1,000, and then it's only going to add a third of that life to your damage, and it's scatter damage, so it's really watered down damage. You're going to have like an extra 300 if you get it to 1,000 life. You're going to have about a 300 added to the true scatter damage, and like I said, it's going to take a long time to get up to that point. Devouring an ally will help you get there a little bit quicker, but it's going to take a long time. The one thing that does make this troop probably better than Zillopachli, in my opinion, is the last trait. It will curse a random enemy when matching brown, and it does take brown mana to fill it up. So you can use something like Mountain Crusher, and you are going to have, like, the whole enemy team's going to be cursed really quick. So that's really good for certain troops to, like, you got High King Iron Gut that it can devour, which is really good, but there are troops that are immune to Devour. Now, if that troop gets cursed, it won't be immune to Devour as long as it's cursed, and therefore you can Devour it with High King Iron Gut. So there's a combination I've tried before with like Mountain Crusher, Vash Dagon, and High King Iron Gut, and one other troop, I forget what it was. Maybe it was Harpy Mage or something, or Queen Beatrix. It was something like that. And once High King Iron Gut starts devouring and you got this curse and everything, I mean, that's the way I would probably use it. So, anyway, how I'm going to look at this is Queen Aurora is probably going to be my number one pick. Number two is going to be Vash Dagon and Zillipochli, between Zillipochli and Death. I think I'm actually going to go... I think I'm actually going to go Death over Zillipochli. Believe it or not. It's a close one. I was going to say it was a tie, but I think Death has better potential for damage. Because if you look at Death here, it's going to deal scatter damage boosted by its life. 2-to-1 ratio, so it's half. You can get that up there pretty quick. With a certain weapon, certain setup, you can boost the damage of it. It's going to still take some time. Not quite as much time as you're going to have with Vash Dagon because it's a third and not a half ratio. So this is a third and Death is a half. So, I don't know. I would definitely, though, say Queen Aurora, I'm going to go with that as number one. Vash Dagon is number two. And then Zillipochli and Death is either tied or Death is a little better. So, yeah, that's my opinion on that stuff. We're going to go to the shop here. I'm going to grab my resources real quick. I like to get those 10 event keys. And new troop is Willie the Anchor. It's a Black Hawk troop for 400 glory. You can get 2 Arcane Swamp trait stones. So if you have any classes, any troops at all that need this trait stone, now's a good time to go ahead and buy those. So it's a 10 mana cost troop. Not a whole lot going on with its traits there. It'll gain 29 gold, submerge itself, sink to the bottom, and gain an extra turn. Is this a goblin? It is a goblin, so of course it's going to gain an extra turn. So it's going to gain gold, then it will submerge itself, and then it's going to, I think sink to the bottom means that it's going to go to the bottom of your team. And then it's going to gain an extra turn. So nothing amazing really there, unless you can figure out some way to use it with a gold team. But it doesn't start with full mana like Leprechaun does. It's not really a mana generator. So there's a lot of little things going on with that. It's not too good. So let's go over and take a look at the guild events here. Guild Wars is going on this week, and I've covered that a lot in videos in the past. So, but if any of you guys are wondering really quickly, Guild Wars, you want to set up your sentinels, and for defense teams, you want unique weapons and troops in each day of your defense. When you're attacking in Guild Wars to maximize your points, you want to attack with a team that has the mana color for that day. So if it's a red, if that's the symbol for that day, then you want to attack with all red weapons or troops. It doesn't have to be solid red, like you can have other colors in there, like it could be a triple color, a dual color, but as long as red is in there for a red day, that's how you're going to maximize your points when you're attacking. So basically that's what Guild Wars is. So let's go on here to the event, Imperial Summons. And I hope they didn't, do something goofy with these medals again. But we're going to go through here. We're going to get, I always like to get the medal. You can start with a badge if that's all you can afford with your gems. But I like to go straight for a medal because that's going to maximize your damage. And so there we go, Medal of Booty. And let's go and assign this here. We're going to see if it's skull damage, spell damage, or both. And it looks like it's 160% skull damage. It is using the Hawk. What is the Black Hawk? Yep, it's using Black Hawk troops. So we're gonna go in here and we're gonna see what skulls are available here. Let's see if they goofed up on this again. Well, Megavore doesn't create skulls. Sycorax doesn't create skulls. Captain Macaw doesn't create skulls. Kraken doesn't create skulls. Scylla, on the other hand, creates a Bone Storm on 4 or 5 gem matches. So Scylla's going in there. Captain Skullbeard creates 5 skulls boosted by treasure maps, then explode. We're putting that in there. Anybody else create skulls? I mean, for mana generators, you got First Mate Axe Lubber, converts blue gems to red. You have down here Scurvy Sea Dog, transforms green gems to blue. So we got some mana generators, but the skull, creating skulls is limited here. Now for weapons, they're giving us Plunder and Peril, Bronze Lock Pistol, which is a really great weapon, but it doesn't create skulls. We have a couple of these weapons here, a couple more down here to generate mana, but none of them create skulls. Now, I wonder, whenever this happens, do the developers actually plan these things out? I hate to be a downer in my videos, but it is kind of like a head scratcher when you're looking at, okay, it's a boost for skulls, 160% if you get a medal equipped. But then there's barely any troops or weapons that can create skulls. So I don't know what the heck we're going to do here. Basically, Scylla, we're going to have to rely on that, and that's a legendary troop. So if you're not high in the game, the only troop you got to rely on for creating skulls is Captain Skullbeard. Never thought I'd say it, but Captain Skullbeard is going to probably be the MVP troop of this entire event. So as far as weapon, I don't even know if we need one, a hero class, because what's your hero going to do? I mean, we could generate some mana with the Bronze Lock Pistol, but whoop-de-doo. What's that going to do? I mean, I guess if we have Scylla here, it could create an opportunity for a lot of skulls coming down. So we're going to want to cast that a lot, and this and that, and this transforms green gems to blue. Class, I don't know what we really need here. We could use Titan class just because it has barrier on brown and it has lightning strike. I like that combination. For banners, I think we're going to go double blue brown. And yeah, so we're going to do something like that, I think. And like, wow, like why? There's no weapons that use skulls. There's only one troop, Skullbeard, that can create skulls. And this, if you don't have enough trait stones to unlock this troop doesn't create skulls here either. So, yeah. I'm just going to go ahead and say the developers screwed up on this event again. They screwed up. So we're going to do that, create some skulls, explode that, see, and then if we create that 4 or 5 match, we get that Bone Storm. So this, it's just the team I'm going to recommend because it's really the only thing that I see that's going to work. If you have Scylla and you have it fully traded, I would recommend it just for the Bone Storm. This guy you should have. He's a pretty low level, low rarity troop, so you should have this guy no matter really what level you are, I think. But see right here, we got our Bone Storm going because we did a 4 or 5 match. And we're still, the enemy's still low enough in level where we can use some spell damage and have it be effective. But It's a little disappointing when you don't have any variety of troops to use in these events. So we're going to try to have fun using Skullbeard and Scylla, I guess. It's about all we got. Yep, so that's all I got for you today, guys. That's the team that I would recommend for that. And later on this week, we have sieges that are starting in about 4 days. So if I have time, I can create another video covering a team for that. But otherwise, this is the end of this video. So thanks for watching as always, guys. I appreciate all the likes, comments, and the views. And I'll catch you on the next video. Later.